G'day guys, this is Rob from Troutlore.com.au, Australia's fly tying specialist store. Today we're tying this nifty little CDC Emerger pattern. It's a great little fly that has some flash in the body, nice buggy dubbing, and CDC for the wing case and wing. So it sits nice and low in the film, it still floats like you wouldn't believe, and the fish just gobble it up. So let's get started. We'll begin with a Kamasan B100 hook in a size 14. It's a good size to be tying this for the video, but I do like to tie them down in 16s as well. Then we're going to use Veevus 16.0 thread in brown. Normally I'd use 8.0 thread for most of my flies in that sort of size 14 range. But for this one, the 16.0 just gives you that little bit of extra wiggle room when tying in around the head so that you're not building up too much bulk. So we trim that off, and then we're going to start by tying in the rib material, which is Veevus Holographic Tinsel in the teal blue color. And we're just going to take a section of that and capture that on the hook down by the bend, and then bring the thread up the hook shank to lock it in place, and then bring the thread back down to secure that most of the way down the bend. Then we're going to come in with some chuck and duck dubbing in the Tasmanian chocolate, hare and squirrel. This is a great little blend that Andy from Chuck and Duck made up specifically for us, and one that he's now offering for sale through the Chuck and Duck website as well, but we've always got it here in stock at Troutlore. So we're just going to take just a little pinch of that and work that in onto the dubbing noodle. You don't need a lot, it's easy to put less on and add to it than it is to put a whole heap on and try and take it off. Just remember, when you're doing your dubbing noodle, always spin the same direction with your fingers. It's too easy to go back and forth without even thinking about it, and it doesn't want to capture, so make sure you spin the same direction. Then we're going to get that caught on the hook, come down to the point where that tinsel is tied in, and then start working our way up the hook shank. And we just want to develop a very gentle taper as we work up. So we're going to run out of dubbing there with that. That's fine, we'll put a little bit extra on. As I said, it's easy to add than it is to take away. And again, just a tiny pinch. And a little bit more. And spread that out on the thread, and then we can continue wrapping that up. We're going to come up to just shy of the hook eye, and then come back down, and then back up again. As you see, we build the taper as we go back and forth. Once that is in place, we then take our tinsel and we're going to make evenly spaced wraps up the body so that you're seeing a little bit more dubbing than you are flash on the way up. If you use the small size, you'll definitely achieve that, but I do like the medium just to make sure you see that little bit more than what you would from the finer stuff. And we capture that, wrap it off, and now it's time to tie in our wing. For this, we're using Nature's Spirit CDC feathers. I'm tying this in a brown to match up with the brown dubbing. That said, it works really well with the amber if you want a slightly lighter colour in the wing, or light grey dun or medium slate dun if you're looking for one of those more subtle grey dun colours, both of which still stand out on the water quite well. So we're taking 3 feathers which are all aligned with the tips, and then we'll just preen them out so that they're together. And we want to take basically the length of the dubbing. We want the tips to come down to there, to the rear of the dubbing, capture that. We'll put a spin in the thread so it jumps backwards, and then 1, 2 loose threads wraps over the CDC and pull up to lock it in place. Then we'll pull these stubs back and get a wrap in front. Then we can come back and do a couple more wraps behind. At this stage you can come up nice and close, trim off those stubs, then holding the CDC on top so it doesn't slip, and put a few extra wraps, bring that in place, and then we'll start wrapping back down the hook shank a little way. Now we're going to add some extra dubbing. Again, put some wax on there, some extra dubbing in there to build up the thorax of this. And again, we'll start with a fine noodle and we'll just keep wrapping on more as is needed to build this up. So pulling that CDC back out of the way, I'm going to wrap tight into the edge of where the CDC is bound down, and then we'll put a little more dubbing on the thread there and bring that thorax forward towards the hook eye, and we'll probably just put just a little extra in there just to bulk it up. Through the center, and then pull all that back and bring the thread to the front. Now the important part, getting this wing to sit right, we're going to pull that CDC over the front, pull it down, 1, 2 wraps to lock it into place. Then you pull that back and we start with wrapping behind the hook eye just in front of that CDC to build a little thread dam, so that then puffs up nicely. Then it's just a matter of popping in a couple of 3 or 4 turn whip finishes, and they will lock that in place. Then we can trim that thread off. As you can see, we've gone a slightly shorter puff on this than what we did with the one we started. That's quite alright. It's going to create a slightly smaller profile. It's the bulkier thorax that we've done that's shortened out the wing as the CDCs had to go over the top. But there it is. You can take your dubbing brush and just scruff that up underneath to work out some of that dubbing. Give it a nice leggy, buggy look, and you're all done. There it is, the little sparkly CDC Emerger. Easy tie to fly. You can whip them up pretty quickly and the fish just gobble them up. Try them with different coloured CDCs, especially the lighter coloured ones if you need one for low light. This one works great when you're fishing glass water and you need to deal with the glare, but the lighter colour, like the light grey dun, really shows up well when you're struggling to see them in low light on the water. There it is. All the materials for this video can be found down there in the comments section. Again, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from our video selection, go to the Troutlore fly tying channel, subscribe to the channel, and once again, thanks for watching. Cheers.